برشلونة يتسلطن من جديد في سماء أوروبا. فاتنا الجميع وفاتتنا أندية مغمورة في التاريخ، ولكن لما نوينا ولما النية خلصت صافية.
What if I told you this has a secret meaning behind it? Or that Barcelona's greatest ever player signed the most unusual contract in football? These are 101 facts about Barcelona you didn't know. And first up, Mes Que Un Club is more than just a logo. Barcelona's a Catalan club, and that club phrase Mes Que Un Club symbolizes that. It shows the team has a deep connection with the fans and the city too. It's crazy to think how the club was only formed after people from different parts of Europe came together, and in particular, one man. Ever wondered why Barcelona starts every season with the Joan Gamper Invitational? It's not just some random tradition, it's a tribute to Joan Gamper, one of the club's founders. He, along with a group of Catalan, German, and English players, made history by creating Barcelona. But wait, get this. Do you know how Barca was born? Through a newspaper ad. That's right. On October 22, 1899, Gamper posted an ad in Los Deportes looking for people to join his dream of starting a football club. And guess what? It worked. A bunch of football fans showed up, and on November 29, 1899, FC Barcelona came to life. Now here's the crazy part. Gamper wasn't some big-shot businessman. He was a student. Imagine founding one of the world's greatest football clubs while studying. Oh, and fun fact, his real name wasn't even John, it was Hans. But unfortunately, Gamper's story took a dark turn. Tragically, in 1930, he took his own life after battling depression. Just 1 year earlier, Barca had won their first ever championship. And that's not the only heartbreak in Barca's history. During the Spanish Civil War, their president, Josep Sunyol, was assassinated. Even crazier, some of Barca's players actually fought in the war. And if that's not wild enough, in 1937, the team toured Mexico and the US, not for glory, but to raise money to keep the club alive. And then came the Franco dictatorship, a brutal time for Barcelona. The government banned them from using the Catalan language, forced them to remove the Catalan flag from their shirts, and even made them change their name to Club de Futbol de Barcelona. Luckily, in 1974, they got their identity back and returned to being FC Barcelona. Now here's something you might not expect. Barcelona isn't the only football team in the city. Ever heard of RCD Español? Founded way back in 1900, they were actually the first team in Spain, made up entirely of Spanish players, and they have been fierce rivals of Barcelona FC for over a century. But their rivalry in 2003 turned into an absolute frenzy, with 6 players getting red cards. Think Barcelona's biggest rival is just Español? Not quite. And no, I'm not talking about Real Madrid either. Believe it or not, their true European nemesis is AC Milan. Yeah, these two giants have clashed a staggering 19 times in European competitions, more than any other pair of teams. On the 23rd of June 1929, Barcelona became the first team to win La Liga in its inaugural season. With that piece of history, they started attracting the best talent in the world, and pretty soon, they developed a strategy to keep these players as their own. La Masia. Founded in 1979, La Masia has become the home for some of Barcelona's most famous talent, including the likes of Messi, Xavi, Iniesta, Puyol. All these guys passed through the academy. And believe it or not, there's so much more to this place than meets the eye. La Masia actually started as a farmhouse in 1702. Before transforming into the academy we know today, it even served as Barcelona's headquarters. Oh, and La Masia, it literally means farmhouse in Catalan. In 2000, coach Louis van Gaal dreamed of winning the Champions League with a team made entirely of La Masia graduates. People thought he was crazy, but in 2009, Barcelona pulled it off.
Barcelona have won the 2009 UEFA Champions League final.
7 of the starting players in the final were La Masia alumni. But here's something that's never been done before. In 2010, Messi, Xavi, and Iniesta, 3 La Masia products, were all nominated for the Ballon d'Or. That's right, the top 3 players in the world, all from the same academy. Incredible. But La Masia doesn't just create stars, it creates scorers. In the 2011-12 season, its alumni scored 150 of Barcelona's 190 goals. That's nearly 80% of the team's goals coming from players who grew up in the academy. Think Barcelona is all about football? Think again. The club also dominates in basketball, handball, roller hockey, and even ice hockey. This isn't just a football team, it's a sports empire. Barcelona officially recognized its women's team in 1988, but did you know the connection runs much deeper? Women's football at the club dates back to the 1970s, long before it was widely celebrated. Alright, here's one to blow your mind. Did you know Barcelona's iconic crest was created through a drawing competition? Yep, in 1910, the club asked members to design a new logo, and Carles Comamala, who was a player for the club at the time, came out on top. His design, with a few tweaks, is still the crest Barca proudly wears today. Oh, and by the way, Barcelona's had 10 different logos since the club was founded. For over a century, 107 years to be exact, Barcelona's shirts had no sponsors, nothing. When they finally put something on the front in 2006, it wasn't for profit, it was UNICEF. And get this, Barcelona paid them millions every year to support their work. But let's be real, football's a business, and in 2011, Barcelona had to make a move. After 111 years of no commercial sponsors, they signed a record-breaking deal with the Qatar Foundation, worth £125 million. At the time, it was the most lucrative deal in football history. Fast forward to November 2024, and Barcelona did it again. This time, they signed a jaw-dropping deal with Nike, rumored to be the biggest sponsorship deal in football history. And here's where it gets even cooler. Despite these mega deals, Barcelona isn't owned by one corporate organization. Nope, it's owned by its fans. I mean, imagine being part of a club that was once ranked the richest in the world. Oh, speaking of riches, Barcelona didn't just break records, they smashed them. In 2019-20, they became the first football club to earn over £700 million in revenue, overtaking their eternal rivals Real Madrid. At one point, Barcelona even had the highest wage bill in sports history. Players like Messi, Suarez, and Griezmann were making serious money, with the average player earning over £10 million annually. Unfortunately, all that spending eventually caught up with them. Years of mismanagement under Josep Maria Bartomeu and the effects of pandemic left the club drowning in $1.4 billion of debt by 2021. So, you know how Barcelona is called Blaugrana, right? Well, here's why. In Catalan, blau means blue and grana means deep red. Makes sense, doesn't it? Those are the iconic colors of their legendary jersey. But wait, did you know those colors were inspired by FC Basel? Yep, that's the team where Joan Gamper, Barca's founder, used to play. He loved their colors so much, he brought them to Barcelona. And here's a shocker, Barca didn't always rock the blue and red. In the early days, they wore pink shirts and blue shorts. Fans even called them Los Pajaritos, the little birds. Oh, and speaking of nicknames, here's a funny one. Barca fans are sometimes called arses. Why? When the team played at Les Corts, fans sitting in the top rows would have their backsides hanging over the edge. All you could see were rows of ghouls, which means buttocks in Catalan. Alright, let's talk about Camp Nou, the largest stadium in Europe. It holds 99,354 fans, way more than Real Madrid's Santiago Bernabeu. But did you know it once fit 120,000 people? Back then, fans could stand, so they crammed in. At some point, it even competed with Brazil's Maracanã for the title of the world's biggest stadium. But here's the kicker, the stadium wasn't officially called Camp Nou until 2001. Before that, it was just Estadi del FC Barcelona. Fans voted to change it because, honestly, who was calling it anything else? And get this, Camp Nou has hosted the Ballon d'Or presentation a record 14 times. Why? Because no club has more winners than Barca, 12 in total. But before Camp Nou, Barca played at a stadium called Camp de la Industria, which held just 8,000 fans. As the club grew, they built Camp de les Corts in 1922, starting with 30,000 seats and later expanding to 60,000. But even that wasn't enough. It's estimated that a quarter of Spain supports Barcelona, and it's no wonder Camp Nou can't fit all their fans. Now, if you've ever seen the entrance to the Nou Camp Stadium, you'll see a statue there. That's Laszlo Kubala, a legendary Hungarian footballer. He's considered one of the greatest players of all time and a true hero of Barcelona. Also, did you know that if you play for Barcelona, you're expected to learn Catalan? Yeah, it's not just a language, it's a huge part of the club's identity. And speaking of traditions, can you believe there was a time when only Spanish players could play for Barca? Yeah, that means legends like Messi, Neymar, and Suarez wouldn't have even been allowed. That's why it's crazy to think that the player with the most appearances for Barcelona isn't even Spanish. It's the Argentinian Lionel Messi. By 2015, over 950 players have already worn the Barca jersey. Barcelona is the only club in history to win 6 trophies in a single calendar year. That's right, no team has come close to matching their 2009 sextuple, and it's been over a decade. Now, everyone knows Pep Guardiola is Barcelona's most successful manager in terms of trophies, but here's something you might not know. He's actually the 2.0 version of this guy. Cruyff didn't just manage Barcelona, he transformed the club. After joining as a player in 1973, he returned as manager in 1988 and built the iconic Dream Team. He introduced tiki-taka football and the total football philosophy that defines Barca to this day. But here's something you didn't know about Cruyff's move to Barcelona. It cost the club a lot of money. I mean, they had to set a world record transfer fee by signing Johan Cruyff from Ajax for approximately $2 million at the time. Another twist, Cruyff almost signed for Real Madrid instead of Barcelona. But why didn't he? Well, according to him, he refused to play for a club associated with Francisco Franco. Barca fans owe him and history for that decision. Now, guess who Barcelona's most expensive signing is? No, it's not Suarez or Neymar. It's Philippe Coutinho, who cost the club 160 million euros. But here's the thing, Barcelona also holds the record for the highest transfer fee ever received, when they sold Neymar to PSG for 222 million euros. And Barca didn't just stop at big money transfers. No, they've even stepped into the world of cryptocurrency. That's right, they launched their very own Barfan token, letting fans own a slice of the club's digital future. Think Lionel Messi is Barcelona's top scorer? Of course he is, with a jaw-dropping 672 goals. But here's where it gets interesting. Before Messi, Paulino Alcantara held the record with 369 goals in just 357 games. Now here's the crazy part. Messi doesn't have the best goals-to-game ratio in Barca's history. That honor still belongs to Paulino. His 369 goals came in fewer games than Messi's, giving him an unbeatable ratio during his time at the club. And if you think Messi's scoring numbers are unbeatable, wait till you hear about Mariano Martin. Back in 1943, he set 42 goals in just 31 league games. That's an insane 1.35 goals per game. Messi's best season, he scored 73 goals in 60 games. Incredible, yes, but not quite Mariano's level. Still betting on Messi to hold all the records? Not so fast. You think he scored the most goals in a single game for Barca? But the club's co-founder Joan Gamper takes that crown. He scored 9 goals in a game, not once but 3 times. Messi's best? 5 goals against Bayer Leverkusen in 2012. Here's another fact for you. Everyone thinks Lamine Yamal is Barcelona's youngest ever player. Wrong again. That title belongs to Paulino Alcantara, who made his debut at just 15 years and 4 months. Did you know Barcelona pulled off one of the most unbelievable comebacks in football history? In the 2016-17 Champions League, they were down 4-0 to Paris Saint-Germain after the first leg. Everyone thought they were done, but no. They came back and won 6-1 in the second leg, 6 goals. Luis Enrique was the manager behind that miracle. Now here's something you probably didn't see coming. Luis Enrique actually played for Real Madrid. Yup, he spent 5 years with their biggest rivals before switching sides to join Barca. But Real Madrid isn't innocent either. One of their biggest legends, Alfredo Di Stefano, was this close to signing for Barcelona instead. Imagine how different football history would have been. Some people still call it the greatest transfer hijacking of all time. And if you thought that was controversial, how about Luis Figo? He was a hero at Barcelona until he betrayed them by joining Real Madrid. But this Barca-Madrid rivalry isn't just about football, it's political too. Barcelona represents Catalonia's fight for independence, while Real Madrid has long symbolized the Spanish government. Yeah, that tension makes every match between them more than just a game. Here's a history-making moment you might not know. In 1965, Barcelona became the first ever Spanish team to beat Real Madrid at their own stadium in the European Cup. And here's something even more impressive. Since European competitions began in 1955, Barcelona has played in every single one. No breaks, no misses. Now, I bet you didn't know this. Barcelona's longest-serving manager wasn't Spanish. It was an Englishman named Jack Greenwell, who managed the club for 9 years across 2 stints, ending in 1933. Meanwhile, Bobby Robson, he only stuck around for 1 season, making him the shortest-serving manager. But even Barcelona's most successful manager, Pep Guardiola, doesn't have the best win percentage as their manager. Yeah, Luis Enrique beats him with 75.3%, but the real record holder? Tito Villanova, with a mind-blowing 75.6%. But don't count Pep out, he pulled off something incredible in the 2009-10 season. His team lost just 1 league game. Only Real Madrid had done that before, in 1989, and then again in 2023-24. But no team has managed an unbeaten La Liga season since the league expanded to 20 teams. Speaking of surprises, did you know Barcelona is one of only 3 La Liga teams that's never been relegated? The others are Real Madrid and Athletic Bilbao. But get this, in the 1941-42 season, Barcelona came dangerously close, finishing just 2 points above the relegation zone. Think Barcelona's biggest loss was against Real Madrid? Nope, it was a 12-1 defeat to Athletic Bilbao. But here's the real jaw-dropper. They once lost 11-1 to Real Madrid in the second leg of a cup match after winning the first leg 3-0. Rumor has it, the police encouraged Barcelona to lose. Wild, right? But Barcelona got their revenge in style. Their biggest win ever? An 18-0 thrashing of Tarragona in the Copa Masia back in 1901. Here's another record to blow your mind. Barcelona holds the longest unbeaten away run in Spanish football history with 43 games. And also, the longest unbeaten run in Spanish football history, 39 matches during the 2015-16 season. And they're the only European club to win the treble, La Liga, Copa del Rey, and Champions League twice in 2009 and 2015. That 2015 team? Unreal. Messi, Neymar, and Suarez, the iconic MSN trio, scored 122 goals across all competitions, and then smashed that record the next year with 131. In La Liga alone, they scored 90 goals in 2015-16. That's more than what 18 of the other 19 teams in La Liga scored. Here's another stat. In 2015, Barcelona scored an insane 180 goals in all competitions, breaking Real Madrid's record of 178 from the year before. And watching all that magic live didn't break the bank. The cheapest season ticket? Just €132, cheaper than a PS4 and FIFA back then. But when it comes to big games, fans went all out. The most expensive ticket ever sold was for Barcelona's 2015 Champions League final against Juventus. A fan paid €12,269 to see Barca win 3-1. Worth every penny, right? Even their fans are star-studded. Late Kobe Bryant, Javier Bardem, and Bollywood actor Ranbir Kapoor, and even Shakira are all huge supporters. But Shakira? Believe it or not, she used to be a Real Madrid fan before meeting peak. Now her music is banned at the Bernabeu. here's a crazy one. In 2015, Barcelona got slapped with a 14-month ban for breaking rules on signing young players.
Barcelona Football Club have been banned by FIFA from transferring players for over a year for breaking rules on signing young foreign players.
When the ban was lifted, they didn't hold back. They signed 77 players in one go. Now, how do you get 80,000 fans into a stadium with 100,000 Kit Kats, 30,000 Actimel yogurts, and 25,000 bags of Doritos? Easy. You make history. See, back in 2003, Barcelona was set to play Sevilla on a Wednesday. But here's the catch. Barca's star players had to leave early for international duty. Barcelona asked Sevilla to reschedule, but they refused, hoping to face a weakened team. So, what did Barca's president Joan Laporta do? He scheduled the match for 12:05 a.m. Wednesday morning, which was the first time that had ever happened. The crowd showed up, the snacks were handed out, and history was made. Why? And speaking of the number 10 shirt, did you know Ronaldinho was the one who actually passed it down to Messi? Yeah, he saw Messi's talent early on and handed it over. And Messi didn't just live up to the shirt, he rewrote the record books. He became the first player in Spanish football history to score against every single La Liga team in a row. And how about El Clasico? Messi is the all-time top scorer with 23 goals, including that unforgettable 92nd minute winner in April 2017.
Gomes looking for the overlap. Alba inside. It's Messi!
And if that's not enough, Messi is tied for the most La Liga Player of the Month awards, despite leaving the league in 2021. But Messi's greatness started in the most unexpected way. When Barcelona scouted him in Argentina, they were so impressed they signed him on the spot. The problem? They didn't have a contract handy, so Messi signed his first deal on a napkin. Yeah, that napkin turned out to be the best decision Barca ever made. Goals, assists, Messi's won the lot at Barca, and that's why he's got a record no one else at the club might ever break. 6 Ballon d'Ors for one club. Some players would give anything just to get one. But even Messi has had his controversial moments.
Holds well, played across, deflected it in! And it's Messi finishing it.
Yup, he scored with his hand. In a moment reminiscent of Maradona's hand of God, Messi pulled it off, and the goal stood. Speaking of Maradona, when Barcelona signed him in 1982 for a world record fee of £5 million, they didn't just splash the cash, they changed their entire training schedule so he could sleep in. But if anyone had more pull at Barcelona than Maradona, it was Johan Cruyff. His influence ran so deep that when he was sacked after a rough patch, fans formed a protest group called Le Elefant Blau. Their movement was so powerful, it forced the club's president to resign. Alright, time for the second to last fact of this video. When I say Luis Suarez, what's the first thing that pops into your head? I bet it's the Uruguayan star who played alongside Messi and Neymar, right? But hold up, did you know there was another Luis Suarez way before him? Yeah, this guy won 2 La Liga titles, 2 Copa del Reys, and even a Ballon d'Or. Ouch, talk about a legend the current Luis Suarez never got to match. Now, for the final fact, here's a fun one. Did you know that Barcelona is so loved that they're the second favorite team for tons of people? Yup, surveys show that when Europeans are asked who their second favorite team is, most say FC Barcelona. Makes you wonder who's number 1, right? Drop your guesses in the comments below.